gmna uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good evening, I'm Vivian Castellanos. This weekend's subway and LIRR service changes will affect many commuters, and a severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for Brooklyn and Queens. Traffic is light despite scheduled construction. Meanwhile, officials are still investigating the Bronx apartment explosion. Over to you, Andre.
The Queens Botanical Garden will host a free spring flower walk this Saturday afternoon, offering guided tour, horticulture talks, and a kids' scavenger hunt throughout the grounds.
The event begins at noon at the garden's main entrance near the Rose Garden, and families can enjoy live music performances every 30 minutes during the walk.
Admission is free for all visitors, and participants can register online to receive a complimentary guide booklet and a reusable tote bag for collecting fallen petals.
That's the highlight for today's community calendar, and we have plenty more to share, so let's dive right in and start the broadcast. Here are our top stories. The MTA, Long Island Railroad, and NJ Transit are cutting subway, LIRR, and commuter rail schedules this weekend, Saturday, August 8 through Sunday, August 9, 2026. Dominic Salerno has the full story.
All weekend riders should expect a trimmed timetable as the Metropolitan Transportation Authority rolls out reduced service on its subway network Saturday and Sunday. Several lines will run on a Sunday schedule, with trains arriving at longer intervals than usual. The Long Island Railroad will also cut back its frequency, shifting to a limited timetable that may add extra wait time for commuters traveling to and from Long Island. Across the Hudson, NJ Transit is scaling back its weekday-to-weekend service, operating fewer trains between New Jersey and the city. These adjustments are part of routine weekend maintenance and operational planning that the agencies regularly employ, meaning longer trips for those on the move. Dominic Salerno, GMNA News, Midtown Manhattan.
Animal hoarding investigators from the ASPCA entered 3 Manhattan apartments yesterday and removed more than 100 cats from cramped, unsanitary conditions. Officials said the rescue operation unfolded after neighbors reported severe neglect, prompting officers to obtain a welfare warrant. Inside each unit, workers found piles of bedding, overturned litter boxes, and evidence of deceased animals, confirming a long-standing pattern of abuse. Veterinarians examined the rescued felines, providing emergency care to those suffering from dehydration, malnutrition, and respiratory infections. The ASPCA plans to place the healthy cats in foster homes while arranging long-term adoption. City officials praised the agency's swift response, noting that similar interventions in recent years have uncovered multiple dead animals and hazardous environments. The case adds to a growing record of hoarding investigations across the 5 boroughs, underscoring the need for ongoing vigilance.
AccuWeather has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Brooklyn and Queens, with the alert set to remain in effect until 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The warning follows a broader thunderstorm watch that continues across parts of northern New Jersey, the Hudson Valley, and Connecticut, lasting through 8 p.m. EDT. Meteorologists with the National Weather Service say the storms pose a risk of damaging winds, heavy rain, and frequent lightning. Residents in the 2 boroughs are being urged to secure outdoor items, avoid non-essential travel, and stay tuned to local alerts. Those in the watch area should monitor conditions as the system advances toward the evening commute. Potential power outages have also been reported in low-lying neighborhoods. Officials stress that the situation is evolving and that updates will be provided as new information becomes available.
A 3rd victim has been recovered after Saturday's explosion and fire tore through a Bronx apartment building, bringing the death toll to 3. Police continue investigating the cause. Dominic Salerno has the full story.
The blast ripped through a 3-story walk-up on the morning of Saturday, sending flames licking the brick facade and scattering broken glass across the sidewalk. Firefighters arrived within minutes, battling a raging inferno that forced nearby residents onto the street. After the flames were contained, crews entered the charred hallway and uncovered 2 victims in the hallway's far end. A search team continued the sweep, and late in the afternoon, they located a 3rd body tucked behind a collapsed stairwell. The cause of the explosion remains under investigation, but officials confirmed the 3 fatalities resulted directly from the blast and ensuing fire. Residents were evacuated, and a temporary shelter set up nearby. Dominic Salerno, GMNA News, Bronx.
Saturday morning in Brooklyn, a resident discovered that her grandmother's platinum and diamond wedding rings had been mistakenly placed in the city's trash. Acting quickly, she reported the error to the New York City Department of Sanitation. Sanitation crews located the rings at a municipal waste facility and returned them to the owner. The heirloom, valued for both its material and family history, was recovered intact thanks to the department's prompt response. Officials confirmed the rings were found during a routine search of the discarded load after the resident's call. The discovery was made at 11:59 UTC on August 8, and the rings were retrieved from a sanitation depot in the borough. The resident expressed relief and gratitude for the swift assistance that restored a treasured family piece. She said she will now keep the heirloom in a secure place to prevent future loss. Later we'll break down the Brooklyn Democrats' nomination of 4 Supreme Court candidates and the looming thunderstorm warning. Stay tuned, we will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. Neighbors reported that a massive oak fell onto a delivery box truck on a main thoroughfare in the tri-state region as crews continued to clear debris from yesterday's storm. The tree, uprooted by strong winds and flash flood waters, snapped across the lane at about 4:19 this afternoon, crushing the vehicle and blocking traffic. Emergency responders arrived within minutes, stabilizing the wreck and beginning removal of the tangled wood. The incident underscores the lingering hazards of the recent storm that battered New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, toppling dozens of trees and flooding low-lying streets. Cleanup crews are still working to clear the roadway, and investigators are assessing the damage to the truck and surrounding infrastructure. Motorists are urged to avoid the area while officials finish the removal and repair work.
The Brooklyn Democratic Party's executive committee convened in Marine Park, nominating 4 candidates for the state Supreme Court after hearing from 170 judicial delegates. The slate heads to the November ballot. Marisol Furrer has the full story.
At Marine Park, the Brooklyn Democratic Party's executive committee gathered with roughly 170 judicial delegates for a nominating convention on August 6th. After hours of discussion, the delegates settled on a slate of 4 candidates to run for the New York State Supreme Court in the November 3rd general election. Party leaders emphasized the need for a diverse bench, while the nominees each pledged to uphold the rule of law. The convention, held in a modest community center, drew local residents watching the proceedings from nearby sidewalks. With the ballot deadline looming, the party now turns its focus to voter outreach ahead of the November vote. Marisol Furrer, GMNA News, Marine Park.
Yesterday, Governor Kathy Hochul and the Metropolitan Transportation Authority unveiled a plan to overhaul the Chambers Street J/Z station, one of the system's oldest and most deteriorated stops near City Hall. The agency announced it will launch a competitive bidding process to find contractors capable of repairing cracked tiles, corroded stairways, faulty lighting, and other structural issues that have plagued the historic platform for years. Officials said the renovation will address severe wear that has rendered the entrance and mezzanine unsafe for commuters. The MTA emphasized that restoring the station is a priority because the line serves thousands of riders daily, and its condition reflects the broader state of the subway network. Work is expected to begin after contracts are awarded, with a timeline that will keep the station closed only during essential phases.
Reading proficiency among New York City public school students slipped to just 50% on the latest state assessment, officials said yesterday. The results released by the State Education Department show that only half of the city's pupils met the proficiency standard, a sharp drop from previous years. Education leaders point to the citywide overhaul of literacy instruction that began earlier this school year as a possible factor in the decline. The annual reading test, administered to every public school student across the state, provides the benchmark for measuring school-wide performance. City officials said they are reviewing the curriculum changes and will consider adjustments to address the gap. Parents and teachers are watching closely, as the numbers raise concerns about how quickly the new approach is impacting student outcomes. Superintendent David Banks said the department will convene an advisory panel of educators and researchers to evaluate the revisions.
New Jersey Attorney General Jennifer Davenport announced a civil rights investigation and subpoenas at the ICE-run Delaney Hall Detention Center following multiple detainee deaths. The Division on Civil Rights is now reviewing the facility. Dominic Salerno has the full story.
Attorney General Jennifer Davenport announced Tuesday that the New Jersey Division on Civil Rights has opened a civil rights investigation into the ICE-run Delaney Hall Detention Facility. Subpoenas have been issued to the facility's administrators and to federal officials overseeing the center, seeking records and testimony related to a series of detainee deaths reported over the past several months. The probe follows the recent fatalities, which prompted state officials to demand accountability and a review of medical and safety protocols. Investigators will examine whether civil rights violations occurred and if the conditions at the center meet legal standards. The division said it will coordinate with federal partners as the inquiry proceeds. Dominic Salerno, GMNA News, Delaney Hall.
Now let's take a quick look at tonight's forecast with our weather team.
A steady high riding the southwestern jet keeps the city sweltering under thick clouds as night approaches. The all-time high for August 8th fell at 87 degrees in 2025, a late summer spike that rode a lingering ridge of warm air. The record low sits at 55 degrees, set in 2015 when an Arctic blast slipped unusually far south. Our climate normals hover around 83 degrees for the high and 73 for the low. So today's 86 feels a touch above average, while the night will dip to 73, well above the historic chill. The live radar shows a clean swath of clear air across the tri-state area. No rain echoes from the Appalachians, and the southwestern jet stream brushes the region without lifting moisture. With high pressure holding steady, the atmosphere remains stable. Expect the clouds to linger but precipitation to stay absent through the night. Visibility will remain 10 miles as the dry air persists. At 6 p.m., the city sits under an overcast blanket with a temperature of 86 degrees and a heat index near 95. Humidity holds at 68%, keeping the air thick. The wind blows from the southwest at 13 miles per hour with gusts up to 22, while the maximum sustained wind is 15 miles per hour from the same direction. Pressure remains near average and steady, so the air mass is sinking and suppressing any thunderstorm development. A swift southwestern jet stream at 53 miles per hour rides aloft, funneling warm air from the Gulf into the region. The UV index reads 7, but sunshine has already faded behind the clouds. No weather alerts are in effect. As the night progresses, clouds will gradually thin, allowing temperatures to fall to 73 by sunrise. Looking ahead, tomorrow will break the heat with a high of 93 degrees and a low of 72, clear skies. Monday brings a high of 90, low of 70, overcast with a 30% rain chance as the next shortwave nudges the jet. Tuesday eases to a high of 82, low of 72 under clouds but no rain. Wednesday's high rises to 88, low to 70, and rain probability jumps to 45% with another western disturbance. Thursday offers a high of 84, low of 66, mainly clear with a 45% chance of late showers. The pattern holds a lingering warm flow and intermittent moisture, keeping temperature swings modest while mid-week showers increase. No alerts are expected. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunset is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
Coming up, we'll review today's traffic snarls, the Giants training camp update, and Legora's 30 million AI boost. Stay tuned, we will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes, the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Summer Streets keeps Manhattan closed from 30th Street to 14th Street, turning those avenues into pedestrian promenades. No vehicle access on 10th, 11th, and 12th Avenues and limited turns on Broadway. In Harlem, the Percy Sutton 5K blocks 125th Street and Madison Avenue, spilling traffic onto Adam Clayton Powell Boulevard. The Great 6th Avenue Festival adds lane reductions on 6th Avenue between 42nd and 57th Streets, slowing east-west flow. Construction for the Great Day in Harlem Festival is laying concrete on 110th Street, creating bottlenecks near Lenox Avenue. Highline Western Rail Yards project continues nightly lane closures on West Side Highway between 34th and 42nd Streets, but today the highway runs clear after the last closure lifted. MTA is running suspensions on the N, R, and W lines for track replacement, and work between 57th Street and 5th Avenue 59th Street reduces service on several lines. Riders should expect longer travel times and consider alternate routes.
Lincoln Center opens its 2026-27 season with a reunion concert starring Audra McDonald and Billy Porter, a rare pairing that promises a fresh take on Shuffle Along and a night of Broadway brilliance. It's a must-see for any Broadway fan. The Blues Barbecue Festival rolls into Hudson River Park this week, serving award-winning barbecue, live blues bands, and cold beers, a perfect way to soak up summer by the water. At New York City Center, Ayo Edebiri steps into the role of Snoopy in the star-studded revival of You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, joining David Hyde Pierce and Danielle Brooks for a nostalgic musical that's both funny and heartfelt. And right now in Gramercy, the Tavern launches its Behind the Bar series with Miami's Café La Trova, giving diners a chance to explore new cocktail flavors while enjoying the restaurant's classic fare. And now here's Desmond with sports.
Summer heat fuels New York sports buzz as camps, streaks, and optimism ignite. A fresh poll shows Giants supporters buzzing with optimism after a week of camp, just 7 days before the first preseason matchup on August 15. That hopeful mood could translate into higher energy on the field, giving coach John Harbaugh a supportive backdrop as he fine-tunes the roster. The Giants wrapped a closed, 2-hour session this morning at Greenbrier, kicking off at 11 a.m. with the second day off looming. Players are back in pads and pushing hard, giving Harbaugh a clearer view of depth chart battles before the preseason slate opens on August 15. As Harbaugh leads his inaugural camp, a new CBS Sports analysis reviews every Giants first-round pick since 2020, ranking 191 selections. The deep dive highlights past hits and misses, offering fans insight into how draft philosophy may shape the roster and future free agency moves. Jets offensive coordinator Frank Reich raved after practice, insisting 35-year-old Geno Smith feels like a player in his 20s. That endorsement fuels optimism around the passing game, suggesting Smith could sustain high-level production throughout the season and keep the Jets' offense competitive in the AFC East. Rookie edge rusher David Bailey suffered a minor ankle sprain during Saturday's drill, limping off the sideline but remaining upbeat. The quick recovery keeps him in the rotation battle, and with veteran Aaron Glenn set to comment, the Jets can maintain pressure depth heading into preseason. The Amazons rode a 4-game winning streak into the Pirates series, buoyed by Marcus Semion's 3-run blast. That hot stretch, combined with Mrs. Met's recent All-Star call-up, underscores New York's offensive firepower and puts the club in a strong position as the summer race heats up.
Legora, the AI startup now planted in Manhattan's Flatiron District, just announced a $30 million raise and a move from Israel to the heart of the city. The company builds intelligent agents that mimic the decision-making of top-performing employees in heavily regulated fields such as finance and healthcare, giving firms a way to scale expertise without breaking compliance rules. With the new funding, Legora will add 40 new roles, from engineers to data scientists, and earmark $87.5 million for research and development over the next few years. This expansion not only deepens Manhattan's tech ecosystem, but also puts New York at the forefront of responsible AI, helping local businesses stay competitive while protecting the public. Later we'll examine the Queen's judge removed for illegal practice and the Council's new luxury second home tax review. Stay with us. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. Queen's Civil Court judge removed after the State Commission on Judicial Conduct found he illegally practiced law, let a felon paralegal run his office, mishandled client funds, and ignored required financial disclosures. Dominic Salerno has the full story.
The New York State Commission on Judicial Conduct issued a formal order this week, removing a Queen's Civil Court judge after a probe revealed he kept practicing law despite his bench appointment. Investigators found he let a paralegal with a felony conviction run the office, diverted client money, and failed to file the mandatory financial disclosures required of all state judges. The commission said the judge repeatedly ignored the disclosure rules and mishandled funds, breaching the strict ethics standards that bar judges from any private law work. The order came on August 7, 2026, after a hearing at the Queens District Courthouse. Dominic Salerno, GMNA News, Queens.
The City Council will hold a hearing on the luxury second home tax, reviewing its rollout as thousands of owners seek exemptions. Officials say the levy aims to boost municipal revenue. Raphael Brannigan has the full story.
The council is convening an oversight hearing this Friday to examine the rollout of the city's newly introduced pied-à-terre tax on luxury secondary residences. Officials say the levy is designed to generate additional revenue for the municipal budget. Since the tax took effect, thousands of owners have filed exemption requests, prompting the mayor's administration to work with council members on implementation guidelines. Lawmakers will hear from housing officials, tax experts, and property owners about compliance challenges and the expected fiscal impact. The hearing marks the first formal review of the program since its introduction. Mayor Mamdani's office will be represented, and several council committees are slated to submit follow-up reports on enforcement and exemption criteria. The session will be streamed for public viewing. Raphael Brannigan, GMNA News, New York City.
Thank you, New York City, for joining us tonight. From the ASPCA's rescue of more than 100 cats in 3 apartments to the countless stories that shape our streets, we appreciate your attention. I'm Vivian Castellanos. We'll be back tomorrow with more of the city's pulse. Good night.